What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. We have the results from the 2020 Mr Olympia, and I'm going to give a bit of a top 5 review as well. Big Ramy, Mamdouh Elssbiay wins and becomes the 16th Mr Olympia of all time, and I think it was well deserved in the end because he came back better at finals, looked absolutely sensational, brought the conditioning, the best condition I've ever seen him in tonight, and deserved the win over three former Mr Olympias in Phil Heath, who came in 3rd place, and Brandon Curry in 2nd. Also Dexter Jackson, who finished outside the top 5. So let's break it down. I'm going to go from 5th down to 1st. So we'll start with William Bonac. Now, yesterday when William came out, I thought he was in pretty good condition. He did fade, though, during prejudging, and I thought that, yeah, he probably deserves around 5th place, but I think tonight he came back much improved. I think he was hard, he looked bigger. I don't know what he did, but he looked like he filled up and just looked a whole lot better. So William Bonac definitely deserved to be in the top 5, if not pushing for a top 4. Now, in 4th place, we had Hadi Choopan, another guy that improved as well between prejudging and finals. Last night, I thought, he's not as good as last year where he placed 3rd. He came back and pretty much looked the same as he did last year, in my opinion. And I think if he can improve on top of this, he's just going to place much better. He does have one shoulder that looks a bit lumpy and stuff, and both of them do really, but the left shoulder especially, which does put me off in a few shots. But when you're doing like an ab and thigh and a front double bicep and even a side chest, you don't notice it. It's only when he's doing like a front lat spread and maybe 1 or 2 other shots as well. In 3rd place, we had Phil Heath, your 7-time Mr Olympia. He looked disappointed when he was announced 3rd. I think many people thought he might have even been 2nd at finals, but I think at prejudging, Brandon Curry was good enough to either place 2nd or even potentially win the prejudging, but he did fade, unfortunately. We'll talk about Brandon Curry, your 2019 Mr Olympia, who I'm friends with as well, so it's hard for me to be subjective, but at finals, he definitely didn't come in as good as he did at prejudging. I think that, he definitely slipped. Maybe even someone else was placing ahead of him at finals. Some people were saying Phil, but the stomach for me put me off Phil a little bit too much. I still had Brandon ahead of Phil at finals, but at finals, Brandon definitely wasn't as good, and Big Ramy did deserve the win here. Big Ramy, obviously the winner of the 2020 Mr Olympia. This is by far the best package Big Ramy's ever brought to the stage. Now, his conditioning was an all-time best in my opinion, at least what we've seen in the pro ranks. But also, he looked enormous. He looked bigger than normal, whether that's the conditioning making him look bigger or what it was, or maybe it's because Phil Heath was a little bit smaller than normal, maybe a little bit flatter, especially from the back. I don't know what it was, but Big Ramy looked enormous and hard, and that's what I always said he needed to do, because he worked with Chris Zito years ago where he came in, a little bit flatter, but he was hard, but it just he didn't pop as much. He didn't have that same pop to the muscle. This time he had the pop to the muscle, he looked huge, he was hard, and he did deserve to be the 16th Mr Olympia of all time and win the 2020 Mr Olympia and $400,000 USD while he was at it as well. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you have Big Ramy winning the 2020 Mr Olympia, or did you have someone else? Give me your top 5 in order on how you would have had it. Also, we're going to do a deep dive on the Mr Olympia very, very soon. It's going to be up in a few hours' time with Michael Galley, who's actually at the Mr Olympia. He was 11 rows back at the pre-judging, and we're going to get an insight from a man who's on the ground in Orlando, Florida. So that's it for me for this video. Guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself, Xavier Wills, at Desktop Bodybuilding. I'm going to have all the fallout from the 2020 Mr Olympia over the next week or so. So that's it for me. For Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.